Welcome to Santiago Surplus. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a .22 pistol. Now, let's talk a little bit about my pocket gun first. Magazine out, magazine off the table, clear, drop the hammer, clear again. So, this is my pocket gun. This is a Keltec P32. It gets cleaned every couple of days because it gathers pocket dust, right? I try to use a dry lube. You know, I try to keep it running, and it runs fairly well. It's always been a little disappointing to me because no matter what I've done with fluff and buff and tune-ups, I don't seem to get it to run through more than 4 or 5 magazines without a jam in normal conditions. So in a normal situation where I'm just carrying the gun and it gets a little pocket lead, little moon dust, whatever, I'm pretty confident that I will get past 2 magazines without a jam, a hiccup. Almost every time, regardless of ammo, almost every time where there is a problem with this firearm due to dirt and grit, it is a failure to come all the way into battery. Okay, it will actually feed, but then it won't come all the way into battery. Almost all the time. I've had a couple stovepipes. Like, I've got a couple thousand rounds through 2 of these, and I've had a couple of stovepipes with, you know, American ammo. Remington and Winchester. That's lawyer ammo. It's downloaded really far because some of the guns can't handle. It's the curse of the 32. Now, details about that. You know, I don't mind. The fact that I know every time that I can get through my magazine and get through a reload is fine. I have never, ever, except going to the range, carried more than 1 reload magazine for this. And almost always when I carry a reload magazine, I'm just going to go ahead and give you a hint, I carry it off body. And then I'll put it in a pocket if I'm going into a very impermissive environment where a small pocket gun that is completely concealed is the only thing I'm going to have. That's actually pretty rare for me. You know, it does happen, but it's pretty rare. At this point in time, I don't tend to go very many places where I have to have one extremely deep concealment gun because people don't want me to have a gun in a building. And we're not talking like a federal building or anything like that. We're talking about walking through a casino to get dinner, all right? It's Nevada, and casinos, it's perfectly legal to carry. Church, casino, bar, it's not legal to be drunk, but it's legal to carry. However, such places can, and often do, put up signs saying, no, we don't want you carrying guns in here. And that's fine, okay? However, I don't always obey because I'm not a terribly obedient person. And since I'm here, I'm just taking it apart on camera, or off camera, because that's what I do. Now, the P32 has been my choice for a very long time for 3 reasons. One is it's a locked breech design, so it's not just a blowback. In theory, that makes it a cleaner gun. In reality, the speed of the unlocking and the way the ammunition, the higher powered ammunition is made, it tends to get pretty dirty anyway. Not loosey-goosey CZ70, CZ50 blowback dirty, but pretty dirty pretty fast. And I think that is the main problem, given the tolerances and the construction methods and the materials. I think that's the main problem with getting past the second magazine. In a carry environment. You know, on a range environment, it goes until it gets dirty. But in carry, there's always a little bit more grit involved. That's just my lifestyle. I live in the desert and I do farmy stuff. Now, take the magazine back out. I carry it cocked, but no round in the chamber. I have done that for several years for various reasons. The primary reason being that it's safer to carry a gun in your pocket without a round in the chamber. This is a big issue. It's a double action, partial double action. Okay, the hammer is partly cocked, but it's still a double action hammer fired gun. But one time, out of all of the times carrying it, one occasion, I checked it for cleaning, and the hammer was down. Okay? That means, in my mind, that there is a 1 in a million chance that I'll shoot myself in the leg. That was a long time ago. That was a different, less encompassing pocket holster, and I've never duplicated that. Okay, this for the past several years now, I have been carrying with a Cobra holster and cocked, chamber empty, and I haven't had a problem. So I could, if I'm in an environment where I feel that I need to, carry it with one in the chamber safely with some confidence. I tend to not, as long as I'm wearing jeans or normal cargo pants, I tend to not drop the magazine. It does occasionally happen, however it never comes out, it just gets loose. And I check it periodically. Like, you go into the bathroom, you check it, tap it. This is a gun problem, okay? This is a magazine problem. I've dropped magazines on a couple occasions, different guns, different holsters, climbing on a tractor, climbing under a cow. There's things in life where it happens, where pushing that button happens. And if I was going to customize a Keltec P32, which I've thought about on numerous occasions, I would want to make a grip frame. The grip frame is plastic, okay? The SIG 320 is not the first gun to come with a separate receiver that sits inside a plastic grip frame. Keltec's been doing that for decades. So a different grip frame that actually holds the extended magazine, because this much length on the handle isn't going to make any difference in my pants. That would be nice. I would really appreciate that. And the other thing is a more shrouded magazine release. I'm not worried about a quick magazine change on this in a match type environment. Okay, it's not what I'm going for. So those are the changes I would make. However, I have often wanted to have a different pocket gun that was just as flat, that I could trust just as well. At one point in time, I had an Iver Johnson 22. It was basically a Walther TPH clone, but it wasn't the best quality. It tended to bite me severely whenever I shot it, and that was no fun. I own North American Arms 22 revolvers, okay? Cap and Ball, 22 Magnum, rimfire. I own a couple of versions. I appreciate them in their context for what they are, but they are not what I'm looking for. So I was excited when I first heard about the Ruger LCP 22. And then I kind of forgot about it for a couple of reasons. One is that it was just unavailable. You know, it got released at a very odd moment in history. You know, it's not necessarily completely a panic gun, but I don't think, yeah, it was hard to find for a while. You know, there's several of them out in the valley in the marketplace right now. A whole big shipment came in, whatever. So I did finally pick one up. And The other reason I didn't get one initially is because the reviews were kind of dodgy. And I suspected that the reviews were dodgy for the standard 2 reasons. One, you're dealing with a micro compact, and if you don't hold it right, you might have a problem. I don't run into that problem with the SIG 365. You can hold it as loose as you want, hold it 2 fingers, it cycles just fine. I don't have that problem with the P32. But I've noticed that problem exists a lot, kind of randomly, in different guns. Every other Kel-Tec I've had. And I'll be honest, I don't like any other Kel-Tec besides the P32 at this point. Several Rugers, several Smiths, the older Smith Wonder 9s. There's several guns where loose limp wristing is a problem. It turns out it's a problem with this. It's not a huge problem, but it's noticeable. And I noticed it because Shopgirl had the problem until she firmed up her grip. Okay, she tried a target shooting grip and it just loose, let the recoil happen, flow with it. It wasn't working. Okay, you combat grip and you hold your sight picture through the recoil, and you're fine. Okay, I have had 3 magazines that ran like utter complete crap in this gun, and that was using Winchester, white box, bulk, lead, ammo. So I have run, and this is, there's no cleaning yet. Okay, I haven't cleaned it yet. Those were the first 3 magazines. Well, the first, second, and fourth magazine in between there. Now, Federal blue box, copper wash, copper jacket, whatever they call it. It's copper wash. Standard bulk ammo I have had 0 problems with. That was magazine number 3. That was also at least 9 other magazines, 3 complete reload cycles, because I've got 2 extra magazines. At least, okay? Shopgirl had 2 magazines where she had issues. One was Winchester, one was Federal, and that's where we figured out the limp wrist problem. And that's over. It ran fine after that. I will say that the last magazine of the Winchester white box that I had ran perfectly. Maybe the gun did break in for it, and I have more of it, so I'll probably check it at some point. But with the Federal blue box, I've had no problems through well over 100 rounds. I mean, I'm pretty sure between the 2 of us, we're pushing 200 rounds, no cleaning. And I've done rapid fire. I've done some pretty fun rapid fire, actually. Hitting the 8-inch pie plate at 15 yards in rapid fire with a pocket 22 is really, really fun. That's actually, probably have to video that. This has a safety. I enjoy the safety. I like the safety. I don't think the design of the safety is perfect. I think that despite the pocket nature of this firearm, and they have done a lot of video game aesthetics to it, despite it being a pocket gun, so this thing could use a melt job. But despite all that, I think that the safety should be a little bit bigger, easier to disengage. It engages by pulling back. Engaging the safety is a little difficult, little ergonomically dodgy, but that's okay because it's not engaging the safety that I want to do in a hurry when I draw from my pocket. It's disengaging the safety. And that works fine, except the safety's a little tiny. That's it. The slide lock is not a slide release, so I'm not going to talk about that. I would probably put an extended one on. It doesn't extend out as far as the safety does even. So, I would go ahead and put a beefier one in if I was doing that kind of stuff with this gun. No, I'm not. As is, it's very shootable. I don't like trigger dongles. The Glock dongle. Whatever they put it in there, I can't really feel it. Trigger pull is decent. Trigger pull is actually really decent for what this is. It is more reliable out of the box with my chosen ammo than the Kel-Tec P32 for extended periods of firing. For 2 magazines, I don't care. 10 plus 1, and I would be willing, after some testing, I suspect that this is one where if I designed the right holster, made the right holster, and actually made it work, I would be willing to carry this firearm in my pocket loaded with the safety on. And that is quite the statement, because that is not something that I am normally okay with. And so this one has a little bit different mechanism. It's still got that, it's cocked a little bit more. It's still a double action feel to the pull. Like there's a little more, it's pre-cocked, but there's still a little more like with an H&R revolver. You know, not all SIGs will do that, but with a lot of H&Rs you get the pre-cock, okay? And then there's still a little, that's the pre-cock. And then there's still just a little travel before you go. So it's like pre-cocking a double action revolver. You're still going to have, you've got a lot of negative engagement. You're still going to have to push it back a little bit. So, okay, the right holster, maybe. That might be an advantage. I'm not sure how much of an advantage that is going to be, given the fact that when I carry a pocket gun, like I carry a pocket gun all the time, but when I carry a pocket gun, I'm generally going for backup gun. I'm not doing a quick draw. My goal isn't actually to go into major combatives, you know? So it's a question, all right? This thing shoots fantastically. The sights are actually regulated pretty well. I have not used paper on it, but I have had no problems running 8-inch pie plates, steel plates, hanging steel plates at 10, 15, and even 25 yards with slow fire. No problem at all. You know, it shoots a little left for me, but it's not off the pie plate. I just hold, if I hold on the right half of the pie plate at any of the ranges, I'm going to hit it. So I'm good to go. You know, this is actually a really good gun. I think that it's going to last very well. I think that it's a very useful gun. Does it replace a 32 ACP being a 22 long rifle? Maybe. You know, that's one of those questions that gets into things like ammo availability, and you know, we talk about terminal ballistics, we talk about hand loading or hot loaded 32s, you know, Buffalo Bore 32 or Fiocchi S&B European loaded 32, which is a 73 grain full metal jacket at a higher velocity than the 71 grain lawyer loads from American companies. 32 has a lot going for it. I've killed a lot of animals with the 32. And it's really hard for me to say that I would give it up, but 10 rounds of 22, 10 plus 1, and the way 22 shoots, this might be good enough for snake and rabbit in the field at short ranges, and that's something I can't get with the 32. You know, the Kel-Tec P32, I can shoot it. I've made a point of shooting it. I shoot it at 7, 10, and 15 yards. Torso targets, it's fine. I can run a plate rack at 10 yards reasonably well with a P32. Okay, and that's kind of that's a big caveat there. This, you know, I can rapid fire and do transitions on 2 8-inch hanging pie plates on my target at 15 yards, and it's more accurate and it's faster. And that, well, we'll see. That's kind of a discussion and a thought process to have. Wanted to tell you about this because, you know, everyone's in on these now, and I'm late to the party, but I'm glad I'm late to the party because you know, I got time to think about it and look at the supplies and think about things like magazines, holsters. I don't like the Ruger holster, the one that comes in a box. I don't like the fact that it comes with one magazine only. That is horrible. I don't like the fact that it has a magazine safety. I really don't like magazine safeties in this context. Man, that's it. That's all I really have. You know, you should supply 2 magazines with a auto pistol, especially. I just, you know, you're not charging a lesser price for it, so that was stupid. I don't, you know, the holster's flimsy, but that's fine, whatever. You know, if I got a tallow edition and everything was nice and painted and fancy, I would expect a much better holster. And 2 magazines. It's a good gun. Magazines are not too expensive if you need to get a 2-pack online, but every store I've seen them in, they've been like twice the price of shopping online, so, you know, watch that. The magazines are not too hard to load. They feed reliably for being partial double stack. I didn't even mention that. They do a very good job for a very short 10-round magazine. The bases of the rounds slide like this and go down, and I really enjoy it. I am totally sold on this, and you know, we'll see what happens with other ammo. But the Federal copper washed hollow point bulk blue box stuff is running perfectly. So, you know, I'll try some CCI because everyone loves CCI, but this is a good gun. I am remarkably impressed because I have waited a long time for something more affordable than a TPH, and this is smaller, lighter, shoots at least as well, accurate enough for close range small game hunting, which is amazing for a pocket pistol, 1/3 the price or less of a TPH, and I'm excited. So, what is it that Michalek says? Get some? Yeah, you should get some. Keep shooting.